Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel that knows nothing. I'm Jem, and let's get into it! Today I wanted to do 25 bookish facts about me because I hadn't done it yet, and it seems like a rite of passage for this thing that I'm starting to do. Anyway guys, I'm gonna do this. I've written them all out and it's not that interesting, but stick around to hear some fun facts. Number one, I'm actually quite a very slow reader. The only time that I read fast is when I'm really enjoying the book or if there is competition, and me and my friend at the moment, we have a book club and I always like to finish before her. And it's not because it's like proving anything, but she's just faster than me in reading, and like it feels like a competition to me, so I'm just like, must finish first! Number two, I like to read books slower because I feel like I get more out of it. Number three, I don't like it when people like dog-ear the pages or tab the pages or write in the book unless the book is for that purpose, because I gave my friend a book of Alice in Wonderland for that purpose to be destroyed, and I made a list of rules that like she had to follow to destroy the book and like all that other stuff. But like if a book is going to be like sitting on a shelf for someone to read, I wouldn't want that to be there. Number four, I am a terrible reader. When it comes to certain books, sometimes I'll just like stop and put them back on my shelf and I'll pick up another book and finish that one. And I just feel so bad because I'm like, this poor book deserves to be read. It's been published, and I am just like, no, let's read another one. Even though I'm halfway through this one, let's read something bigger and longer. Anyway, and I just feel like a terrible person. Number five, if things are going on around me and I'm trying to read, I can't read. Like, I'm very like, you know, can't multitask when I'm reading. Like, it's like very much read word, like read word for word. And like if like things are happening around me, like a conversation or a TV is on, I just can't. And also I feel like it's really rude of me just to be sitting there reading when there's like activities happening. So I normally, you know, only read in my room or somewhere where, you know, reading is acceptable to society. Number six, I can't finish a book just in one sitting. I feel like my eyes get like so ruined by just staring at the page for so long that I need to get up and do something. I'm a bit of a fidgeter sometimes, and just I can't finish a book in one sitting, and I envy those who do. Number seven, I normally judge a book by its cover, and I don't really know anybody else who doesn't do this. The bookstore that I go to, the covers are always facing towards you, so you know what they look like and you can see the title clearly. I don't really know any other bookstore that does like when you can just only see the spine. Like, and plus, you know, there's some pretty covers out there, and you should appreciate them for what they are and not just be like, that's just a pretty cover, I'm not gonna judge you just because you're pretty. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, number eight, I have this really bad habit of going to bookstores and always leaving with at least one book, sometimes more. And it's just, I don't know what's wrong with me. I always just walk in and I have to leave with something. And I don't know why. I have plenty of books at home that I should be reading that I'm not because I'm going out and buying other books. Number nine, I can't read in the car. Not because I get car sick, but because like normally when I'm traveling it's during the day and the like sun shines through the window and makes the pages like I can see through to the next page, and like the words just get all lost, and I just don't even try. Like, I bring books with me when I travel, but like I never read them when I'm traveling. It's always when I get to the destination. Anyway, fun facts guys. Number 10, the book that got me into reading was Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Don't ask me why. Number 11, I'm dyslexic, so when I was younger I didn't really like reading or writing because I didn't understand it, and you know, when you don't understand something it becomes very scary and all that other stuff, and it wasn't fun. But things have changed obviously because I'm doing a Bachelor of Writing, so I love reading and writing now, so it's good. It's a good thing. Number 12, I buy books all the time, and it's normally without doing research into them or, you know, like extensive research, because I know several people that do this, and I hear that people do research on books before they go and get them, and my question is, why would they want to do that? Because the back of the book has just got a blurb on it, and like you can go online and find longer blurbs and all that other stuff, but and like you find the synopsis of the story and stuff, and they do all this research, and I'm like, but it's like spoiling the book for yourself, so I don't understand people that do that. I just go in and I pick up a book and be like, okay, this sounds like a really good book. And I read it like a normal person would. Number 13, I don't really have a favorite genre of book. Like, my shelves are like filled with the most randomest things. They'll jump from like a really like kiddish book to something that, you know, an adult would read. I just don't want to limit myself because I do write a lot, so I don't want to like just stick to one genre of writing when there's like so many out there to write about, and there's so much out there to read as well. So number 14, this one's about adaptations from like books to TV shows and books to movies. I think that books to TV shows would be like a lot better, so you could get a lot more from the book in there, but just not go there. I think that most of the time you need to look at them as two separate things, and I've said this like in other videos as well, because it does say based in like the title sequence, and it can't fit everything in there in the book in like an hour-and-a-half movie or 2-hour movie. It just would be too hard. So I understand, although I will never forgive whoever created Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. They ruined that movie. The book was so different. Number 15, I really don't like borrowing books from people because it forces me to read the book in a short amount of time, because obviously the person will want it back fairly quickly depending on how big the book is, and I normally end up letting this person down with not reading the book and returning it to them and being like, yeah, it was really good, and just lying, which is not good. But I feel too pressured to read the book in this like short time frame. I'd rather buy the book myself and just, you know, enjoy it when I want to, and it just bothers me. Number 16, I have close to 400 books, and I'm proud of it. I'm not ashamed because I have my own personal library. Number 16, my favorite classic is 1984 by George Orwell, and a lot of people, like, we studied it at school, and a lot of people didn't like the book, and you know what, I can understand that. When I first started reading it, I didn't really like it, and then I finished it and like ended up loving it. And the movie was atrocious. That is contradicting to what I said before, but that and Percy Jackson just were terrible. But I think 1984 is like a really good book. Opens your mind up to the world and, like, you know, the possibility that it could have been. And I know that people are just like, no, that couldn't have happened. But like in so many like realities that like people write about, like The Giver and 1984, and like there's so many other examples as well, that is the world with no emotion, and like it scares me. Number 18, I don't mind lending my books to people, but there have been cases where I've lent my book to a person and it has not come back in the condition that it was given to them. And it upsets me because I trust that person enough to, like, you know, take care of this book because it is like not theirs. But anyway, I know books are out there to, you know, I'm sorry, I had to grab a book off my shelf, so that's why I was sitting weirdly. I know books are out there to be sort of, you know, not in the condition that I, you know, first bought them, and this is a bit of an example of one. I left Jasper Jones in my bag and my water bottle leaked, which was pretty unfortunate, and examples like this have happened with like other books that I've owned that I've lent to people, and I don't mind because it adds character to the book. It adds character to the book, but I would prefer it not to be like this because it upsets me because this book was very expensive. Number 19, I like to read like any kind of book, like I said before, but I do particularly love children like fiction. Children fiction? Child fiction? I don't know. You can take either one from that. And that can fall under like picture books and like teen novels and like whatever you want to like phrase it. I just feel like there's like a little bit of innocence there, and there's always like a moral to the story, and it's very cute. And I'm reading The Land of Stories by Chris Colfer at the moment, and I'm loving it. And I like started it when I was like in year 8, and I'm still sticking with it because it's just a lovely story. And like I love fairy tale characters, and I love like Disney, and I feel like there's just like all in one book, and I'm like, thank you Chris, you were awesome. Number 20, a book series that I would love to read but I haven't yet is Game of Thrones. And it's because at the time I was a bit too young, and my parents like actually like took the first book away from me, therefore I couldn't read the rest of the books, because I feel like at that age I was like, okay, well none of it is gonna make sense. But I've read the sequels before I've read the first book to things, and it's made perfect sense to me, but that's just me. Anyway, but actually I'm very diehard Game of Thrones fan. I started watching when the second season had just come out. So I like watched the first season and the second season. I was one of those people that had to wait for the third season to come out, which took forever and it wasn't fun. And like, I've known so many people that like started watching at like the 5th season. They're just like, oh my god, Game of Thrones. I'm like, oh my god, Game of Thrones like 5 years ago, mate. Like, I was there before you. I feel like I'm just like, gotta put my flag down. It's just like, excuse me, I was in this fandom first. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Number 21. The way a book smells is really important to me. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm a bit off-put by books that like, you know, smell a bit funky. And I like the way like a book smells because, let me demonstrate. Where's my book? Where's my book? Here it is. Here it is. So, well, this is a bit hard to explain with like a hardback, but you'll get the vibe. So normally when I finish, my bookmark fell out. Finish a chapter, I'll shut it and do this a couple times. And like, if it's a bad smelling book, it'll get like right in my face and it'll put me off reading it. And I've been put off like so many books because I've left them behind because I didn't want to finish them because they smelt weird. I know it's a weird quirk, but shh. Number 22. I generally pick up the second book in a like series or a trilogy all the time. And it just always happens to me. Like, it's happened to me with like at least, it's happened to me at least 5 times. And I'll pick up the second book and I'll be like, oh my god, this sounds like so awesome. And like, it won't sound like the second book on like the blurb. Like, to me, it doesn't sound like a second book. Sounds like, you know, a first one or a one-off book. So I'll buy it and then start reading it. And I'll be like, this makes no sense whatsoever. And then I'll go back. It's just that at some of the bookstores I go to, it's like the first one and then the second one, like, it's like the second one is in the place of the first one and the like first one is in the place of the second one. I'm like, why do you do this? Do you think it's funny? It's not funny. I have to suffer and come back and buy more books. Which I say like it's a complaint, but I actually don't mind, but I'm still like. Number 23. It bothers me when it takes forever for like sequels to come out. And I know that like, you know, the writing process like a long time and the editing process is even longer. But sometimes like when like you've had a constant sequel, like, you know, very like, you know, at least not that far apart. And then you get to like the last sort of book and you know that there's another one coming and you're just like, okay, that's okay. You know, I'll wait. And then it turns out it turns out that you've like waited 2 years and you don't remember what happened in the last book, and you start reading like the last book and you're like, I don't know what the fuck is happening right now. Not naming any names. Number 24. I don't like to force myself to read a book that I'm not enjoying. I don't see the point in it. Like, if I'm not enjoying the book, then I'm not gonna like finish reading it and be like, yes, I know that book is bad, because I'm like, I knew this bad was book. I knew this book was bad like way before I finished it. And well, not necessarily bad, but just not my cup of tea. And I just don't like to force myself through something that I know I'm not going to enjoy. Like, if I know the book like may get better by the middle or like the end, then I'll continue. But like, I'm not going to force myself to like, you know, sit through this painful process. And like, there's several books on my shelf that have like, you know, bookmarks in them. And I'm just like, I'll get back to you, maybe. Sometimes I do. I'm being quite honest here. Sometimes I do get back to them, but more often than not, no. Number 25. This is the last one. And the book that got me into Shakespeare was Just Macbeth by Andy Griffiths. And I know that doesn't seem like a very good one to end on, but I actually love Shakespeare so much. We studied Shakespeare at school and I loved every minute of it, and we got to like, you know, do little play scenes from it. This was when we were in like year 10. This was not senior year when we were studying Shakespeare, which like broke my heart because I wanted to study Shakespeare. I picked tragedy for English and expected Shakespeare, and everybody's like, well, no, you gotta learn about Oedipus and that weird storyline. It was weird. Anyway, but Shakespeare is like the best. I love Shakespeare so much, and I feel like people don't appreciate him enough, but he's just very awesome. And I don't care if you don't understand him. It's very poetic. Every word. Anyway, Anyway, guys, that's the end of it. I hope you enjoyed these 25 bookish facts about me. I hope they were bookish enough. I don't know. Anyway, guys, please give this video a big thumbs up if you want me to continue doing bookish things, and I'll probably do it either way, whether you give this video a thumbs up or not, because that's just me and I ignore everything on the internet because hate is gonna hate. I can't believe I just said that. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Please like, subscribe, because that's always nice. And goodbye. Goodbye. Number 19. That falls. My god, that fucking scared the shit out of me. Something fell out of my closet. Fuck hell. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.